Hi, everybody. So I'm here with Lisa. We're going to talk about the financial system today.
That is. Good morning, good afternoon. Hi, it's Lisa from Crushing the Narrative. Honey, how are you today?
I'm doing good. And I just wanted to say go below and subscribe to her channel. She's got a lot of good
Thank you.
stuff on there. Yeah.
Thank you. It's great to share this with you. But honey, I mean, how many questions are we all getting about the financial system right now? Is that all you hear about?
A lot. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So interesting. So over the weekend, what we heard was, little rumblings of SVB, Silicon Valley Bank, going down, and the finance. This is a big bank, and so we saw Silicon Valley Bank going down before the weekend, and they always say it happens over a weekend. And then we started hearing rumblings of other things out in California, and then one other bank, Signet Bank. Interesting that these banks are not the too big to fail banks. Does that mean anything?
I feel like they're using it for multiple things. So one of them is to take money away from some of the naughty people. One of them is to out certain companies. One of them is to out the banking system itself. Also, they're outing the government because the government did go in, swoop in, and do some things that were probably not kosher. So there's a lot of stuff that they're basically using it for. It's like, it is that 5D chess thing going on. I do see this as like the tip of the old financial system failing. So that's the beginning, but they're going to use it for a lot of different things in the meantime.
Yeah, you said a lot right there, which is very interesting. So they took this one bank, which is the poster child for the U.S. venture capital system. Venture capital, which is also connected with technology, and it's the financial support for all the technology companies. So we've seen the big technology companies laying off many, many people. You've seen lots of issues with California, which we heard too, that Governor Newsom was also an investor and was banked with his multiple wineries by Silicon Valley Bank.
He was
and
outed.
then yeah, he's at it. And then you have the government, which you said, which I think is an important point for us to talk about, which is at first they say, no, we're not. And then they say, yes, we will. So I think it's important to say, first of all, let people, just reinforce how banking is done. Banking in the current system is a fractional reserve system. Meaning that, go back to It's a Wonderful Life, where you didn't have all your deposits. And the reason that you go in for the banking runs are really important is that you don't have all your money there. The bank takes it in, lends it out, and only has a fraction of the deposits that they say they have. So you go in there, you give your money to a bank, you don't own it anymore. The bank does. Yeah. And by the grace of the bank's contract, they let you get it back. This is something I think we need to be very aware about on there. So here we have this system where the government said, well, we're FDIC insured, which is also another fractional reserve of a fractional reserve. So to me, it's really interesting, is like the first ones, everybody are like, this is the worst thing that's going to happen. It's going to be a problem. But then all of a sudden the government says, we're going to support you. Well, the truth is the government and the FDIC doesn't have enough money to do it for everybody. So you're actually better off if you're the first bank down than if you're middle to the end bank, right?
Yeah. I think it was like 9 billion or something they had in there. I think I saw a little blurb about that. Yeah. And that's like nothing for what's about to happen.
Right. So we're going to have a massive transition on that. So let's go a little bit sort of the connections that sort of the stress on the system, which is the derivatives book. So interesting there that SVB was the 33rd most important in volume of derivatives. Does that 33 mean something?
Yeah. I think they actually put it in 33rd. That's what I'm getting. So they wanted that message to go through, that mathematical message, the 33. So like the Freemason 33. Yeah.
Hmm.
Because
Wow.
they
So
wanted to
there's always
out
a
that.
number.
That's a whole nother way of outing them.
So is it a message to the cabal to say, we know what you're doing and we're going to systematically take you down?
I don't think so. I think it's a message to the people to clue in to this is the cabal bank.
Mm.
So, I mean, and they're all cabal banks in general. But it's like, here's the cabal, the biggest cabal bank. We're going to take it. It was a message for us, the
Wow.
awakened. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't get it was a message to them because they're already in the toilet. I don't think that, I mean, honestly, like it was like Roku lost 479 million, Oprah, like all these people lost money in that bank. I think that money was already gone.
Yeah. And the fact that they showed Oprah screaming that she lost all that money. It's kind of interesting that
Which
she would
I don't
have.
think was her.
Exactly. But
Yeah.
also to think that someone that wealthy would have cash on hand in a bank like that without having fail safes in many
Yeah,
different
without
ways.
spreading it around. And none of those people spread it around. I have an Etsy shop that I put on vacation. And I'm like, oh, I'm glad I put it on vacation because guess what? Nobody's going to get paid because Etsy uses that bank, which is
Yeah.
outing Etsy. You know, there's all these companies and people that I think for the reason of what do you want to call it? Crimes against humanity, their money has already been removed from them.
Yeah, that's really true. Well, you mentioned Etsy, which is a really important one. So it's showing how the payment systems that are connected in with these banks are going down and that'll be transitioned. But another one of them is Coinbase was also part of that. So going after the crypto, this is one of the banks that was banking and financing the crypto sector. And they're saying that essentially by the SBB going down, that the crypto sector is left unbanked. Is there anything you're getting out of that? Is that accurate?
I don't get it is no.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I get that crypto is going to go forward, but it's going to be only the coins that are backed by something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, with backing. So no longer a fiat coin. It's going to be a asset-backed coin.
No more fiat anything in the future.
Yeah,
There's
that's really good.
Fakery is not going to be tolerated anymore.
We're a little too aware now about that, but
We're
it's interesting.
too aware, and also we're becoming too sovereign. Like people are becoming like, I want the truth, and I don't care if it hurts a little bit. You better tell me what the truth is. You know, people are sick of lies at this point. Like we're evolving past that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is really good. It's just really,
It
really
is.
good. Coinbase, though, is a platform where they're not settling their transactions. Do you think that those who have money on there and coins, will that be settled and will they be able to get those off?
I get
The flat.
yes. Yeah. It may take a little while, but it will happen.
And that's really good. But that's good because it's highlighting this idea of which platforms are going to be safe and how you're going to be doing things.
Yeah.
Really, really important. I also heard that the quantum financial system is allowing you to set up your account now. Is that true?
I think accounts are being set up. I don't think we're necessarily doing it.
So don't go off and do it on your own.
Yeah. I mean, if you think about it, the government has all of our information. which means the
Yeah.
military has all of our information. So I think a lot of accounts are being set up for us, waiting for us just
Mhm.
to gain access. Yeah,
So no action at this point, like quantumfinancialsystem.net, don't go there. That's not quite right.
no, I don't get.
Good.
Yeah, I get wait. You'll have some kind of card that shows up in the mail. Something will happen where it's
Mhm.
actually announced. You have a new account, and in this account, you will get a certain amount of money every month to rebuild the economy.
Yeah.
You'll get, it's not going to be through some obscure thing. It's going to be very above board. Yeah.
Mhm.
And some
How
people
important,
have accounts already that,
and do you know
they're
about them?
sitting there and they've seen them, probably because they have a bank that's going to be a treasury bank. So they've seen like proof of them,
Okay.
that there's an account because it gets listed on their like receipt or whatever. And then,
Yeah.
but if they ask the teller's like, oh, I don't know,
Yeah.
but it's some
The teller probably
astronomical
doesn't
amount of
know.
money in there. Yeah. So it's like,
Yeah.
it's their RV account. It's the big account.
Interesting. So when do you think the RV so you're saying the RV is real? Is that what
Yeah.
you're getting
The
to?
RV is real. I think it's in process, but I don't think us as humans are actually really involved in it yet. I think it's more military based. I
Mhm.
think they're setting a lot of things up in the background because I feel like things were behind. So they're like, well, we don't have time to do all these appointments anymore. We don't have time to do that. So let's just go peek in at people. I mean, they look at us all day long if they want to through our computers and our phones. And so they know who
Mm,
we are. They know what our
yeah.
intentions are. So I feel like that's what's been going on for a while.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. Have you seen this advertisement from Apple where they were very proud of themselves going to the New York City people saying that you now can use your Apple Pay in the subway system, which you could do already, but without unlocking your phone.
It's like, yeah, we
I
got
know, right?
direct access. We could take it all.
So what you're saying is they can see everything everywhere anyway, so it
Yeah.
doesn't really matter, right? So is that the extent of which they have access? Is that a good thing or a bad thing? So talking about
I think it's
the
been a very
unlockable
bad
thing.
thing. But now it's turning into a good thing because things are getting done for us. But I think the new technology will not allow that.
Right.
Yeah.
I
Nobody's
just
going
thought
to put
that
up
was,
with that anymore.
I am shocked that my fellow New Yorkers, which I'm not in New York right now, are not up in arms about that. It's sort of like, what do you mean? You could just read my credit cards. You could go shopping off of me anytime you want, you know?
Yeah,
So much for the
the
security of
common sense
Apple.
is like gone for a lot of
Yeah,
people. Yeah.
extraordinary, extraordinary. Oh my gosh. So let's go back to SVB and the banks and what that means. So what they were finding is that SVB has a second bank that's controlled by a second bank that's a partnership with a Chinese bank. So SVB is a Chinese owned bank. They have a second bank. And that which has very strong connections to the US Virgin Islands, which we all know where there's a very strong Epstein connection there.
Yeah.
So they were saying that, SVB has, problems with their with the years of the no interest rates, free money, just like every other bank does, but it wasn't much worse than the other banks. But it was put on alert by Peter Thiel. And Peter Thiel is a guru of Silicon Valley.
Mm-hmm.
And he put out in his investment letter, time to get your money out of SVB, which is what precipitated the bank run. Was he doing that purposely, was that something that was done by the White Hats? Or was that something
That feels like
done
a
by-
white hat op. That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
So was it him who actually did it? I don't feel like it.
Is Peter Thiel with us right now? The original Peter? Because Peter and Elon Musk, the original Elon Musk, were
Yeah,
compadres.
I'm getting no. I get no.
So it was so he was used, his brand was used to do this. And
Yeah.
so it was that controlled demolition of SVB. So what was the reason that SVB was targeted?
I think it was targeted because that's the heart of the problem right there, the location. So not only the connections, but also the location of it. Because California is like, that's where so much stuff started. I mean, if you look at it, they could do multiple things there. Hollywood, the governor of California, like all of that stuff is linked up. Yeah. And it just, to me, for them, they're like, okay, which one? And they're like, oh, this one makes the most sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really interesting on that. And then another bank, First Republic, who is also a California-based bank. Why were they caught in the crosshairs?
There's something else dirty going on there. I feel like the CEO was quite dirty. Yeah. And I'm getting trafficking is what I'm getting. So a lot of this also, you know, another benefit of this is trafficking will be brought to the surface as well. And I think that's why I don't want to say it too many times, but ETSEY is in trouble. Because that happened on Wayfair and what's that other one that eBay. Like there's a lot of those that were doing that. Yeah. Amazon, all of it.
Yeah. Oh, it's incredible. All of these
Yeah.
things. Well, that's interesting. So all of that. So will First Republic go down? Will it completely go bust?
There's like an 85% chance that it will completely go bust. Yeah.
So that's one of them.
That's
so
a really big one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's what they call a super regional. There's no comparable, but SVB was a little bit like what First Republic was, and they were both originated out of San Francisco. So that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. And if you think about San Francisco, it was one of the Tartarian like cities on the coast. So there's probably a lot of underlying stuff going on underneath San Francisco, and just the power structure was already placed in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Because LA was not one of those. But if you look at it like San Francisco, New York, I don't even know if Seattle is that. I mean, it was something, but I don't think it was as big as San Francisco was big in the past. So
it's interesting you say the Tartarian, because there's been information that has just come out that is saying that there was infrastructure in some of these bigger buildings that created electricity that had been removed from the buildings in the mainstream.
In the mainstream, they put it in the mainstream.
Yes, not in the Tartarian TikTok videos, in the mainstream. Yeah,
I love that.
I know. Interesting, because I think we're getting on the interesting time. So San Francisco, I mean, New York has that specific energy, San Francisco. So those two banks originating out of San Francisco, it sounds like it has a meaning to this. So this idea of San Francisco and tech, like technologies kind of thing. That's interesting. So going back with the other banks that are and we should talk more about that on a separate subject about what's going on with Tartarian versus other dimensionals, and well, we'll talk more about it. It's a great subject with you. So going with the other banks here, so you've got yesterday real big thing on Credit Suisse. Is that meant to go down? And then the Swiss government decided we'll swoop in too, like the US government did with the FDIC to save them. But it's a loan from the Swiss central bank to save
Oh,
credit. Is that going to stay? Or is that another one that's coming down and in the whole domino effect of what
I
we're
get
going
it's
through?
gonna fall apart. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Somehow they're tying all this in to help the governments fall. Because I always get the financial and the government and the medical, like all of that stuff. I tie the financial in with the government, really. But the government needs to fall apart as well. So basically, they're just creating the link.
That is really important what you're just saying. That makes so much sense because exactly Credit Suisse had the Swiss central bank do it, not an insurance group. But Credit Suisse has been known to have a really hard thing. But they also, what precipitated the emergency with Credit Suisse is that the Saudi investors said that they are not going to support that. What did that mean? And why would the Saudi investors do that? Like they're talking against their own book, as we would call it in the markets.
I feel like they're going to say, well, we have our own currency. So it's going to be another way that they show people that, guess what? They have their own money. Just like the Russians have their own money. And there's another country that has their own money. I can't remember who, but yeah, people are.
Russia,
Yeah.
Brazil, does Brazil not yet? No, I don't think so.
I don't think so. Was it Iraq?
Iraq, yeah.
Yeah, but people, I mean, that's the thing. We got to think outside the box, you know. We're so used to the whole money system takes care of us. You know, that's not the future, but we have this interim time where we're still going to be using money. But you know, we want to disconnect money from survival.
Yeah, and that looks like that's very magical. So the two things that you're saying here is that the money system coming down, they also want to show and bring down the governments at the same time, show how they're linked together. But then also too, the players who have been in the investors of the bank, they have been the Japanese and the Saudis. The Japanese are out because they've been dealing with something for a long term, but the Saudis were the ones, and now they are part of this BRICS system, this alternative system. That makes so much sense. Magic, honey. I knew we'd get more information by having this conversation with you. It's super important. Yeah. So let's just talk one thing about this. So we've said that revaluation is happening now as we speak, that it's been a bit of a time lag and that it's going to take some time. So instead of having individual meetings, maybe we'll get some information or they'll set up accounts for us. And so that kind of a thing. So this financial system, let's talk a little bit about the transition of that. So does the new financial system exist now?
Yeah, it does.
Is it complete and ready to function?
I feel like there's a patch in between. So it's not absolutely complete because we're not completely ready for it as beings, but it's close, and there is going to be some things we use in the meantime. So some of us will have access to it and some of us won't right away. Some of us will still be getting, it depends on what you're actually ready for. That's what I'm getting.
So level of consciousness?
Yeah, what's your, well, and where are you at financially? Like what's been your relationship with money? Because some people, their relationship with money, which also has to do with, I love me and I'm enough, and yes, I matter enough to be taken care of. You know, some people are seeing money as energy, and some people associate lack with money. So I feel like there's some things put in place that are going to kind of take away the survival instinct of, like, money is all about survival. People will have enough And then they can start to build on that instead of like giving somebody who, it's like somebody wins the lotto and before that they were homeless and they don't know how to manage it. They don't know how to deal with it and it's gone again.
Right.
So I feel like there's some money education that has to come out of this. And I feel like there's provisions in there for that.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense because you're right. If we don't have an aptitude or we don't understand what it's used for and how to work with it, it's really hard to do that well. And
Yeah.
to just hand it over is going to be complicated. So what do you think the process is? And I may have jumped the gun to say that originally there was thoughts that you're going to have an individual meeting with new bankers instead of, is that happening still, or is there going to be a difference about how we do this?
I don't think we're going to have individual meetings very much. I think they still have that in place for a few. And that's probably like somebody that has an exorbitant amount of money. So let's say they bought, I don't know, 500 trillion million Zims or whatever, you know, like a quadrillion Zim. Let's say they have that.
Wow.
So they have a pallet of Zim sitting somewhere. They're going to need an appointment. And if somebody gave you Zim and you're never on the internet talking about it, you're never talking about it while you're on the phone, then they won't know that you have it. And then you'll still have to do some sort of appointment.
Okay. So they still know that you have it somehow?
I think they have, if they have algorithms for everything else, I feel like they have algorithms to figure out who's going to do projects. You know, like, is it the NSA? The NSA probably has algorithms for information. So it comes in and they filter through it and they're like, okay, this person has projects. They're going to do this, this, and this. This one has, and then they're asking someone of intuitive mind, like probably an ET. What do you think about this one? Oh yeah, give them this much. What do you think about this? This one is going to continue on and do good works, or is this one going to go spend everything on Ferraris?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So I think the things that were going to happen in the meetings are now happening remotely, basically.
Okay.
But not all of them. Some of them still have to be a meeting.
Okay. So there'll be that allocation of resources, kind of a thing. So we've seen the world starting to bifurcate. Asset-backed financial systems, which are what the BRICS nations are, and the Western world, which was supposedly the more advanced financial structure. So the Eastern world, the BRICS nations of the world seem to be already sort of moving forward in a very sort of quantum-like system. What happens to the West as we're transitioning over? Does everything get wiped out in the revaluation, or is there a stepwise transition that happens?
I feel like it has to look like it's wiped out. How long will we stay in that? Not very long.
Okay. So we have to see things like, you know, Deutsche Bank go down, Credit Suisse. Is it going to be US, Europe, or is now Europe going to be the one? Because I've heard like Europe had to be first and then the US later. What do you see happening in timing on that?
To me, it reminds me of all of a sudden the news is like all the banks are crashing. You know, like it feels like a day of chaos to me. And people, it's like they need that, unfortunately. I think one thing that the West has done is that we have not been put in as dire of straits as a lot of the other countries during this whole process. And to strip back that idea of everything's like, it kind of opens the mind. So I feel like people are going to have to get a bit of a shock to begin to see the alternative without creating a whole bunch of, attachment to it. It has to be seen as done.
Right.
Yeah.
Is that still the scare event essentially what we're having?
I feel like there's
Or
all
is it-
kinds of weird scare events that they've been doing. None of them seem to be up to what the cabal would have done.
Obviously, the ones don't have as great storytellers or the screenwriters.
Well, I just think they're trying to get it all out there so that they can basically say, this was the plan for you.
Gosh, yeah. So
Um,
are we in the storm that has been told to us by Trump? Are we in that storm?
We are in the storm. The tornado has definitely not hit town yet. But we're in the storm and it's just going to escalate.
Okay.
So, yeah, I would say, like, if you're worried about how you're doing, I would just go get your 2 weeks of food, get some dry goods, get some seeds so you can make sprouts or something. If you need some fresh veg, fresh vegetables, get some seeds
Yeah.
and get some fresh stuff now. But start to extricate yourself a little bit from the system now. Take a little bit of cash, put it away, don't use it, leave it for whenever we are at home, and just start to relax, start to disengage from it, let it happen without needing to see every single blow by blow every day, because that's not healthy really for us.
Exactly. And I think that's really well said. It's really important. Like, there have been a group of us who have been preparing, but not in a negative way. Like, I think that it's really important. And then to share with others what we're doing, what we've done, and keep calm, and to know that they can come to you if they haven't prepared, because always have just a little extra, because there will be some people who haven't, but be a very, very good joy and spirit, because without breaking it, we can't rebuild the new thing. And
exactly. It's like you're moving from house to house. Like, you have to throw away some stuff. You have to clean the old house. You have to box everything. Like, you have to deconstruct before you can reconstruct.
exactly. And that I can't wait to we really be focusing on that, which leads me to one other question. There's so much attention right now in the news about the financial system. I mean, listen, I'm interested in that because I find it an interesting study of psychology and what they're trying to do to us. But because there's so much of it, is that a negative unto itself? Or is that something where they're trying to put our attention on something because we're amazing creators on a negative? And is there something else we should do? Or is this something that we need to experience to have that shift of consciousness?
We have to experience it. I do think we are helping it happen too, though. Like, our consciousness we have such strong creator consciousness. And I would say the main target is the sleepy people, because they are the main ones who watch the news. Like, I don't watch the news. I'll get a clip once in a while, that I share. But if I had to actually watch the news, it would be so painful for me. Like, I can't do it. So I think it's for the sleepers. Like, they need a bit of a jolt. And it's almost like, when somebody has an epiphany, usually that epiphany comes right after something shocking happened to them.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. Well, I know you don't watch the news, but I know you like TikTok.
Yeah.
And TikTok, let's transition over into that, because it seems to be a big thing out there right now. It continues to be. We've had governments around the world say, we don't like this TikTok. The US was saying, we are not going to allow, certain states won't allow their governments to have it. And now the Biden administration has said, you know what, if you don't have their main Chinese shareholders sell, we're just going to not allow TikTok into America. What's going on with TikTok?
I think they're trying to highlight TikTok so more people look at it. Yeah. And I know one of the press secretaries, I think it was the lady with the curly hair, the new one, the new press secretary. She says some crazy stuff. So did the last one with the red hair. But this one, she's like, the security advisory team or something has just put out a TikTok on that, as if they were using it for their communication.
Wow, you're right.
And
You're
I'm
right. I
like,
love this.
okay, how far is the movie gonna go? Like the awkward stuff that lady has to deal with is like shocking, you know,
Yeah.
and she's
She's
obviously
doing
an
a good job
actress.
in that role.
Yeah, she's an actress though. Like it's all fake. All of it is fake. And it's so funny because they've got one reporter that's constantly harassing her in there. So that's the dynamic that they have going on in the press conferences every day. Never before have we had a press conference every day with the government, ever.
Yeah, good point. Good
Yeah.
point. Yeah, you're connecting the dots, and I love this. You're shifting around what what it is that we're being told and what is it's actually out there. But you're absolutely right. It's this whole idea. So TikTok is a great place for information,
It is.
and as we talked about before, it's where the youth are being red pilled, which is important. But for the Biden administration to say that we're telling the Chinese who own this that they have to sell, I mean that's pretty brazen, isn't it? Don't look here, but look there.
Well, and it's pretty ridiculous because he's being connected to China, in so many ways. And then he's saying that, like his credibility, not that he's even the real Biden, because he's not, but his credibility is like falling. And it's amazing to me to watch. I'm like, how far do they have to go to get people to pay attention? Really is shocking to me, but
it is really funny. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, good. I still love the TikTok stories because they really are the most creative ones and get most information. Good.
They're funny.
So let's shift a little bit. Another thing that's made it into the mainstream, sort of kind of halfway, but still really into the mainstream, UFO disclosure. That the government now says, you may have had discussions with extraterrestrials. We may, we may not, but we may. What are they saying? What are they trying to say?
Well, they also said there's a mothership in the solar system.
There you go, a mothership.
And I'm just like, So I think they're just trying to prime people for two things. One is to realize that Project Bluebeam existed. And there may be some kind of drama around that, especially after all those balloon satellites got shot down and all that nonsense that happened. And then I also think that they want it to be okay once the ETs show up, once we can physically see them. I feel like they're trying to prime us for that too. So we're a little bit desensitized. Because the human body, even if your soul is going to be like, okay, that's fine. I'm probably an ET, and I'm in this body. But the human body itself is going to react. It's going to go into a little bit of like, oh, I've never seen you before, Like when you see something shocking, like when somebody runs around the corner and they've got some kind of costume on, maybe they're dressed up as a giant dinosaur, you're still going to get that instant reaction that comes through. Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting. So anything else that we can glean from that exposure that we're getting in the mainstream about UFOs and the mothership that may be coming? So Project Bluebeam is one of them. Will we
I don't know if they're going to, I thought they were going to do an alien invasion. Like that was one of the plans. There was 3 plans and that was one of them. Now I feel like they're just kind of figuring out which way to go with everything. It's almost like a tornado of, ooh, let's put this out there again. This is looking good. Let's do this one. It's like they're trying to bring everybody into being somewhat shocked.
Okay.
You know,
We always
because
have
a
to
lot of people, they don't care about the government. They don't care. As long as they're still fed and they can still go do what they want to do, they're not going to listen to any of it.
I'm not going to shed a tear over that if they don't care about the government.
No,
Are you?
it's great. It's great, but they have to reach them in another way.
Got it. So
Yeah.
you're talking about all these different potential scare events or things that are happening. Are we still in a process where there'll be an EBS or an EAS, as they call it now?
I haven't felt like we would for a while, but honestly, I feel like some areas may get it and some may not
Yeah,
at this point. And I think they're figuring that out. Like,
right.
where should we do an EBS? Does this country need an EBS or not? Basically.
And what is it how will people know the truth? Or is that not something that's going to be with the collective?
As far as like how will it be broadcast?
How will it be shown? Yeah.
I always get that we'll have one or two channels in the United States and at least one channel in other countries that broadcasts the truth.
And how will people know that that is the truth? Which is what I thought the
They'll have
EBS
to
was.
decide. They really have to decide. I mean, not everybody is ready for this. Not everybody's ready for ascension. We've got a lot of people running around that are basically like an empty shell at this point, you know, because part of their soul has gone. Maybe they didn't have a big piece of a soul to begin with. They're just on autopilot. They're part of the NPCs. So the NPCs will probably never get it. It's not for them.
Right.
This is for the people who are ready to ascend or ready to have this knowledge before they go and ascend somewhere else. It's for them. It's for their benefit, really. Yeah.
That's important what you're saying. That's really, really important.
Mhm.
So speaking of which, going back into the ascension stuff, I think people have been really experiencing ascension symptoms. You and I talk about like we're energized and not sleeping.
Yeah.
What are the ascension symptoms you're hearing, and are they getting worse, or will they progress a bit as we go forward?
I feel like a lot of people's are going to get worse right now because the light codes are increasing. So we're getting more solar information coming down right now. So you're going to get to the point where you're just like, oh, I feel like I can't even get out of bed. So people are going to have that for a few days. If you're progressed already, like way down the line with that, then you're going to be doing better than like your neighbor, you know, who may be in bed. It's going to feel like extreme lethargic exhaustion kind of thing, because our bodies are going to be receiving information that our bodies have never had before. Because if you think about it, we're going from a 3D body and we're moving into a 4D body. And a lot of us have progressed pretty far with that. Like maybe you've been exhausted for a year at this point. Like a lot of people, they're just so tired. But it's, you need your minerals. So I would definitely take minerals.
Okay.
And salt is a great form of minerals. Electrolytes. Do the things that's going to give your body energy. But also be okay with, okay, I'm going to stay home for 3 days and I'm going to be in bed most of the time.
Yeah. And is our body is it going to 100% crystalline, or a combination of carbon and crystalline as we go into the fourth?
All the crystalline building blocks are mostly I mean, it depends on who you are, but a lot of them are built, but they haven't integrated completely. So we are in the process of going 100% crystalline. I don't know how long that's going to take. I think it really depends on the individual.
Yeah. Does Tara, or former Mother Earth, does she have anything else to share with us right now, like as we go through this?
She's kind of like, we're going for it.
She's like, come on,
She's like, get ready, we're going for it. So she's ready for ascension. She's like plowing through it. So we may feel a little discombobulated, ungrounded, exhausted. Like we're going to go through some symptoms. We may be crying because there's something inside of us that needs to be released.
Yeah.
All kinds of symptoms could happen, but yeah,
and
she's ready.
And great. The sleep part, so we've talked about that before. Are you still feeling that, or are other people that you're talking to having that problem as well?
Yeah. And I think some of that has to do with just the energies are so different, but also our day is going to be longer. So there's all these adjustments that people are making, and I feel like some of them are making the sleep adjustment sooner than others. Some of them are getting the energy like figured out sooner. It just depends on where it's easiest for you. That's where you're going to go first. Yeah.
Got it. Solar flash. Is there a particular big solar flash, or is this just a series of different flashes for light codes?
It's mostly a series. I do think there will be something where there's a big peak. And that big peak is where we're going to just be like flat out tired, exhausted. And I have always gotten that it's at the end of March, but there's so many timelines moving right now. I'm just kind of waiting to see where it's going to be. I think it's really important to let go of our attachment to when is stuff going to happen, but it's and another thing I heard is if you give a date, then usually it moves to another date. So it's really important not to have big expectations on which day. Yeah.
Yeah. That's really good. Well, wonderful. Yeah. Wow. Well, I think we've covered financial system. You've given some great insights here. Thank you so much about that.
You're welcome.
And also let it go, because it's just coming down and there's something so much better. I mean, you've got to break it in order to make the new one. And the new one is definitely much better. And money isn't our priority. It isn't the thing. We are abundant, and we're going to continue to be more and more abundant as we've got that. You've got all sorts of things. I know Miss TikTok over here. That's always a fun story. We'll continue to watch TikTok on that. And we'll see how the governments react and try to play this out as we move forward. Honey, anything else that you want to share before we wrap up today?
Just have fun. Find some joy. Do some of the things that you haven't been doing in a long time, and just kind of wrap yourself up in those and let the world figure itself out for a little while. Because this is it's not our job to fix it for everybody. Everybody needs to go through this on an individual basis. And as we come through it, then we're going to be helping more, but we have to maintain our own consciousness. We can't just totally pad everybody all the time. So as a star being or a star seed or like old soul, make sure you take care of yourself through this process.
It's really well said. Well, wonderful. You too. You take care of yourself. Do a lot on that. But thank you so much.
Thank you, Lisa.
The narrative. Honey, thank you.
You're
once
welcome.
again.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. Ciao.